Okay, well, as you know, glue ups can be pretty stressful, and no matter how long you've been woodworking, things can still go wrong. So it's just a good idea to have a plan, have all your products, anything that you're going to need for your glue up before you even get started. Get your clamps organized. In my case, I like to have some water, some rags, brushes, things like that. So I'm going to go over my whole system. But before I get to that, I want to let you know that I was on the American Craftsman podcast this week. It just came out today and was a lot of fun, and I'll have a link to that episode in the description below. And the American Craftsman is by Jeff and Rob at Green Street Joinery, a shop here in New Jersey. Really talented guys making custom furniture and cabinetry. So I hope that you'll check that out. It's a lot of fun. And also check them out on Instagram. I'll have a link to their Instagram as well. So as you can see, I'm making some progress here on the trestle table. I'm hoping to finish this up this week, maybe even start the finish on Sunday or Monday, and then delivering it a week from today. That opening scene, I was gluing up the tabletop, and that's, right there. What I should have done, the reason why I dropped the board is, I should have taken my spray bottle, just hit one of my hands, and that would give me a lot more grip to hold the board. So that board just slipped out of my hands because it came out of the planer. It's very smooth, and that can happen. Luckily, it didn't hit an edge and ding the edge where the joint would be. Otherwise, I'd have a real problem. So that was something that worked out, but it could have really ruined the top, and it could have hurt my hand. So a little spray bottle like this is a great thing to have in the shop. Now, this barn doesn't have plumbing. I do have water out front. The months are from, probably I'll turn the water on the end of March, and I turn it off around the end of October, and it just goes to a hose spigot out front. So I can get water, put it in a spray bottle, put it in a little cup, and that'll give me some water to remove glue, do any kind of cleanups that I might need to do. So for the winter months, I like to have one or two of these spray bottles, and usually one's on each side of the shop, so they're always handy. So that's number one, I guess. Another thing that I like to do is I like to apply the paintbrush, or not the paintbrush, I like to apply the glue with the paintbrush. I don't really like these glue brushes. I find them to be pretty clumsy. You can't get into the tight spaces. I don't really feel like they clean up that well unless you clean them like a regular brush using water or soap and water. If you let the glue dry in there, you generally end up pulling out the little rubber bristles, and I'm just not a fan of them. So I like to use a paintbrush. You can go to Michael's, you can buy these online. They're not expensive. I like the ones that are 3/4 of an inch or maybe an inch, and just get a couple of these, and these are great for applying the glue. And you could have one for applying the glue, and then you can have another one that you keep in a little bucket of clean water for cleaning up any glue that might squeeze out. Really useful during lap joints, because when you glue up a lap joint, that glue bead is going to be right in the corner where the lap joint is, and you can't really get to it with a wet rag. So definitely want to have some paint brushes. Like I said, I prefer the artist brushes, and they're not expensive and really useful. A box of rags. I can't be in the shop without a box of rags. I probably use a half a dozen of these rags every day, and they'll last. It's not like a paper towel. I don't even have paper towels in here. I had some, they're kind of useless. These rags are more industrial. They're stronger. They're going to last a little bit. You're going to be able to remove the glue, and the rag isn't going to fall apart. So when I'm removing glue with a rag, I'll have the first rag. That's to get the initial large amount of squeeze out cleaned up. And then I'll hit it with a secondary rag, and then I'll hit it with a third rag that is almost not wet. Maybe I'll just kind of take a rag out, give it one of these, and then just get that top residue. I know that some people feel that you run the risk of putting the glue into the wood fibers by cleaning up with water in a wet rag. I've never had an issue with it. You just have to be thorough. I think you're better off removing the glue with a wet rag than to try to remove it later once it's dried. Now, on a tabletop, it's a little bit different because the surface isn't difficult to work on. You can get to it easily. So with the tabletop, if I'm using Type Bond 3, I'll let the glue set up for about 45 minutes just to skin over. Then I'll clean it up with a chisel. That'll expose some of the wet glue just a little bit, and that's what I'll clean up with the wet rag. Again, being really, just making sure that I get every little bit of glue. And I'll also go over the seam sometimes with a razor blade, using it as a scraper. Because when you put the water down on top of the wet glue bead to remove it, it also kind of raises the grain, and that'll it just lets you do a good job cleaning up any of that potential glue residue. And so that's pretty much it when it comes to glue ups. I just like to have everything ready. The water to put my paintbrushes in. This is what I consider sort of the dirty bucket. This is the clean water bucket. This is the bucket that I'm going to use for brushing any wet glue out of the corners of lap joints, things like that. And just have your clamps ready, your glue blocks ready. In this case, the tabletop, I used glue blocks so I didn't mar up the ends. This tabletop was glued up in 2 halves just because it's so big and heavy. It was easier for me to handle with 2 halves. And I guess that is about it as far as the glue. So I did want to answer a question that I got on Instagram about this leg design. And not so much the leg design, but why is there a dowel? Why is there an 1.25" dowel at the bottom of the lap joint? Now this is something that I've been doing for a while, and it's there so when I lag into the leg, when I attach the trestle, instead of screwing into end grain, I'll catch the long grain of the dowel. So pretty simple, but very effective. That's going to have a lot of pulling power. So this will be a big glue joint. Then I'll have a 6-inch lag going from the top of the trestle down into the leg. So that's it. Just wanted to kind of give you a little inside look at what I do for glue ups, and kind of let you know that I definitely have screw ups basically in every part of woodworking, but there's too many to always catch on film, and I would never get a project done if I put up every one of them. So this project will be done relatively soon. Looking forward to getting this one out. I will have plans, and if you're looking for a project in the meantime, check out my website. I have a ton of great furniture projects over there, and they all have video tutorials right here on YouTube. That's it for now. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. With spring just around the corner, the planter box is a great project to get started on and will definitely inspire you to spend some time in the shop. The decorative legs are made with the table saw and the miter saw, and the planter is built with pocket hole joinery, so definitely an introduction to woodworking project. You can find the link to the plans and the project video down in the description below.